The crime that awoke Earth, the human colony of New Dawn, was small and quiet. It floated near the edge of known space, far from Earth. People there lived simple lives, farming, learning, and raising families. They believed the stars were dangerous, but also full of hope. Every morning, a human child named Eli ran through the metal streets. He laughed as the artificial sun warmed the colony dome. He dreamed of becoming a star pilot one day. The adults smiled when they saw him. In a galaxy full of cold empires, Eli was warmth. The Galactic Empire watched New Dawn from afar. To them, humans were new and unimportant. The Empire ruled through fear and force. Its laws were complex and cruel. Most species obeyed without question. One silent day, Empire warships appeared above the colony. Their dark hulls blocked the stars. Sirens screamed across New Dawn. People ran, confused and afraid. No warning was given. Empire soldiers landed. In heavy armor, their weapons were aimed at unarmed civilians. An officer stepped forward and read a charge. He said the colony had violated an imperial trade rule. No human understood the accusation. The colony leaders tried to speak. They begged for time and explanation. The Empire officer showed no emotion. To him, humans were insects that talked too much. Eli stood beside his mother, holding her hand. He did not understand fear yet. He only saw strange soldiers and loud machines. When he asked his mother what was happening, she had no answer. The Empire officer made a decision. Not because it was needed, but because power liked to be seen. He pointed his weapon at the crowd. Then he changed his aim. The shot was fast and bright. Eli fell to the ground without a sound. The colony froze in horror. A child was dead. A human child. Eli's mother screamed. The sound echoed inside every human heart. The Empire soldiers did not react to them. It was an example, a lesson. In obedience, the officer announced punishment was complete. The Empire ships lifted off. They left the colony broken and silent. They believed the matter was finished. But humans remember, in the ruins of New Dawn, survivors gathered. They knelt beside the small body of the child. There was no anger yet, only shock and deep pain. A colony technician activated an emergency beacon. It was old and weak, but it carried a message toward Earth. The message was short and clear. They killed a child. Days later, the message reached Earth. It entered command centers, homes, and public networks. People stopped talking. Soldiers stood still. Leaders closed their eyes. Earth had lost wars before. Earth had suffered pain before. But this was different. This was not politics. This was not territory. This was a child. Deep within human history lived an ancient rule: protect the young at all costs. And when that rule was broken, humanity changed. Across Earth, alarms activated. Military systems woke from long sleep. Generals did not ask if war was needed. They asked how fast they could respond. Somewhere among the stars, the Galactic Empire celebrated another act of control. They did not know they had crossed a line. They did not know they had awakened Earth. The crime was complete. The answer was coming. Earth remembers who it is. The message from New Dawn spread across Earth like a quiet storm. It did not scream. It did not threaten. It simply told the truth. A human child was killed. In cities and villages, people stopped their daily lives. Screens showed the same words again and again. They killed a child. No names were needed. No images were shown. Parents looked at their children differently. Soldiers felt their hands shake. Old veterans remembered battles they hoped were forgotten. Something heavy settled in the air. Earth's leaders gathered in a secure chamber. There were no arguments. There were no politics. Only silence. A general finally spoke. His voice was calm but cold. He reminded them of human history. Humans had been attacked before. Humans had been pushed before. Every time humanity was cornered, it did not disappear. It adapted. It fought back. Scientists were called from secret facilities. Projects once sealed were opened again. Weapons designed only as last hope were reviewed. Not with excitement, but with duty. Across Earth, factories changed purpose. Civil ships became military carriers. Mining stations began producing armor and fuel. The planet moved as one machine, on training worlds. Young recruits arrived in waves. Some were afraid, some were angry. All were focused. Old soldiers returned without being asked. Their bodies were slower, but their minds were sharp. They remembered what war truly meant. A simple phrase spread through human networks. Never touch our children. It was not an order. It was a promise. The Galactic Empire received Earth's first response. It was not a threat. It was not an insult. It was a warning. The message said the Empire had violated human law, a law older than space travel, a law written in blood and memory. The Empire laughed. Their leaders believed humans were emotional. They believed emotions made humans weak. They believed Earth would argue. They believed wrong. Human fleets began to move, not in panic, not in rage, but with control. Every ship carried a name, not of battles, not of heroes, but of children. In command rooms, officers studied Empire, space maps. They marked supply routes. They marked fleet paths. They marked weaknesses. This was not revenge. This was preparation. Earth sent one final public message. It was heard across human space, and by those watching quietly from other worlds. You killed one of ours? We are coming, on the Empire's side of the galaxy. Small fleets were prepared. They expected a short conflict. They expected easy victory. They did not understand humans. Humans do not fight to prove strength. They fight to protect meaning. On Earth, a mother placed a toy beside a memorial screen. A father held his child closer. A soldier looked at the stars and whispered a promise. The engines of war burned bright, not with hatred, but with resolve. Humanity remembered who it was, a species that survives, a species that protects, a species that answers, and somewhere in the dark between stars, the Galactic Empire waited, unaware that the storm was already moving. The Empire learns what HFI means. The Galactic Empire launched its response with confidence. A small but powerful fleet moved toward human space. The Empire believed this would end the problem quickly. They believed humans would break. Empire commanders laughed inside their war halls. They spoke of punishment and control. They saw humans as loud but soft, a species ruled by feelings. The Empire fleet entered the border system of human space. Stars glowed quietly around them. There were no defenses in sight, no warning signals, no enemy ships. The Empire relaxed. They thought Earth had already given up. Then the stars went dark. Human ships appeared without sound. They did not shine. They did not broadcast signals. They simply arrived. Empire sensors failed. Communication screens filled with static. Officers shouted for reports, but no answers came. The first Empire ship vanished in a flash of light. No warning shot was fired. No message was sent. It was simply gone. Panic spread through the Empire fleet. Orders conflicted. Formations broke. Human weapons struck again and again. Precise, fast, final. Empire shields collapsed like thin glass. Ships burned silently in space. Escape pods launched in fear, but even they were not spared. A human fleet commander watched calmly. He did not smile. He did not shout. This was not victory to him. To him, this was justice in motion. The Empire tried to retreat. Their engines failed. Human interference locked them in place. One Empire cruiser was boarded. Its soldiers expected torture. Instead, they found cold silence. A human general entered the bridge. His voice was steady, clear, almost gentle. He spoke to the captured Empire officers. He told them why this battle existed. He did not list numbers or losses. He said only one sentence: "You killed a child." The Empire officers felt fear for the first time, not fear of death, but fear of consequence. The battle ended quickly. Not a single human ship was lost. The Empire fleet was destroyed or captured. News of the defeat spread through the galaxy. Other species began to watch, some in fear, some in quiet respect. The Galactic Empire called humans monsters. They said humans fought without mercy. They said humans were dangerous. They were right, but not for the reason they believed. Humans do not enjoy war. They endure it. They finish it. Earth released a public statement. It was translated into hundreds of languages. We did not start this war. You did. We will end it. Across human space, fleets continued to move. More ships joined the advance. More soldiers prepared for battle. The meaning of HFI spread beyond human networks. It was not pride. It was survival. On an Empire world, a young alien watched the news. They saw human ships moving like shadows. They heard the story of the child. For the first time, they wondered if the Empire was wrong. Far from the battlefield, Earth's commanders prepared the next phase. This was only the beginning. The Empire had learned a lesson, but it was not enough. The war was no longer coming. The war had arrived. Total war across the stars. The war spread across the stars like a rising tide. Human fleets moved with perfect timing. They did not rush. They did not hesitate. Every attack followed a clear plan. Empire supply lines were cut first. Fuel depots burned. Communication relays went silent. Empire worlds began to feel fear, not from rumors, but from reality. Human ships appeared, struck military targets, then vanished again. The Empire tried to defend, but their forces were scattered, their commands confused, their leaders divided. On many worlds, Empire soldiers waited without orders. They watched human ships in the sky. They realized the Empire could not protect them. Humans avoided civilian zones. It protected cities and colonies, but military bases were erased. This was not rage, this was control. Other alien races stayed silent. They closed borders. They watched. From a distance, they saw humans fight with discipline, not cruelty, not chaos. The Empire tried to send peace messages. They spoke of misunderstandings. They offered trade and apologies. Human leaders listened, then refused. Justice had not been served on Earth. Families followed the war in quiet rooms. Parents held children close. Schools taught history and survival. Humanity did not celebrate battles. They honored sacrifice. An Empire admiral finally understood the truth. This war was not about power. It was about a line crossed. He ordered a full retreat, but it was too late. Human fleets surrounded key systems. Jump gates were blocked. Escape routes closed. Empire defenses failed one by one. Their technology was strong, but human strategy was stronger. In one battle, an Empire world surrendered. Human forces accepted the surrender. They disarmed the military. They protected civilians. The galaxy took. Notice, humans were not conquerors. They were enforcers of consequence. A human commander spoke to his crew. His words were simple. Remember why we fight. The image of the child from New Dawn appeared on screens. No name was spoken. No anger shown. Only resolve. The Empire's central command grew desperate. They realized their survival was at risk. They prepared their last defense. Human intelligence confirmed the location, the Empire capital world. The final phase was planned, not with celebration, but with seriousness. Human fleets gathered in numbers never seen before. The stars themselves seemed crowded with ships. Other species whispered a new rule of the galaxy: never harm a human child. The war had changed space forever. As human ships jumped toward the Empire capital, soldiers checked weapons. Commanders checked plans. There was no cheering, only silence. Total war was reaching its end. Justice was close, and the Empire was about to face the cost of its crime, the price of touching humanity. The Galactic Empire capital world floated bright and proud. For centuries, it had never faced real danger. Its leaders believed themselves untouchable. Now the stars around it were filled with human ships. They'd blocked every escape route. They surrounded the world in silence. Empire citizens looked up in fear. They had been told the Empire was strong. They now saw the truth. Inside the capital command tower, Empire leaders argued and panicked. Orders were shouted. Plans collapsed. Human fleets did not attack. They waited. A single human message was transmitted. It reached every screen on the planet. Surrender your military. Deliver those responsible. End the war. The Empire had no choices left. Their fleets were gone. Their allies silent. Slowly, painfully, the Empire surrendered. Human forces entered the system. They disabled weapons. They secured stations. They protected civilians. No cities burned. No innocent lives were taken. This war was never about destruction. The Empire leaders were taken into custody. They were shown records of their crimes, including the death of the child on New Dawn. For the first time, they were forced to look at what they had done. A human representative spoke, not with anger, but with finality. You crossed a line. You chose power over life. The war ended that day, but the memory did not. On New Dawn, a small memorial was built. It stood where the child had fallen. No name was carved, only a message: never again. Across the galaxy, empires changed their laws. Soldiers received new orders. Humanity had rewritten the rules of space. Earth did not celebrate victory. There were no parades, only remembrance. Parents told their children the story, not as a tale of war, but as a warning. Humans do not seek conflict. They seek safety for their young. The Galactic Empire became a lesson, a reminder carved into history among the stars. One truth spread faster than any fleet. Do not harm humanity. Do not touch their children. Because when you do, Earth will answer. The price had been paid. The galaxy would remember. Humanity returned to silence, but it was a silence earned. And far beyond human space, civilizations whispered 3 letters, with respect and fear, HFY.